So in the last session, we discussed about these timeline parts. So we have created all the user stories for the epics and all everything. So whatever the user stories that we have written over here, everything will be there in the backlog, right? So we have updated everything in the backlog. From this backlog onwards, based on the sprint planning that we do, everything will be moved into the board. That's how generally it happens. Now, the next one about the calendar, right? So this is about the calendar part because calendar means like what we have assigned and all. Generally, there are filters are there because we have to create filters for this. Based upon the filters, whatever we have created, generally administration people do that. Administrators has to create the filters. So based on the filters creation and all, what are the tasks that we have assigned to whom this is being assigned? What type of work is this, right? So what type of work is this? Is it a top and an epic or it can be a user story, etc. Everything we have to do it, including assignee, current users, all that. This is all something will be part of admin job because filters creation, workflows, everything will be done by the administration team people, right? So Jira administration people. So this is all about the calendar part. So all the calendar, this is a calendar work where it depends on the work creating a work item. For example, we want to create a work item wherein uh, right. So for example, Monday, right? So this year we need to create a work item. What needs to be in and what is the user story that we wants to be presented over here. So here we can update the user story. For example, the first user story we have, okay, uh, we have this user story, right? So this is the user story we have taken. Okay, this is the user story that we have taken here. Where in this calendar, here we need to update. Okay, this is what generally we have updated and we can create. Let's say that this is the user story we have mentioned, right? So this something like work item created successfully like this depends on the sprint planning, whatever is made. Now and then what we have an option where in the calendar we can update all the user stories because I don't say one because depends on the sprint goal that we are defining. How many user stories will satisfy that particular sprint goal? Those many user stories will be completed in that particular 2 weeks time or so. That's how generally this calendar, etc., everything will work. Next about the listing part. Okay, these are all the listing items where everything will be kept on the media part. So this priorities we can change, right? So depends on the requirement what we have. This can be prioritized, etc. That is anyway that will be there always, right? So next, these are all the forms, right? So whatever the forms we have, because these forms normally Confluence we call it as because we work with Confluence because Confluence is a document collaboration tool where we can add all the requirements, right? So in a document format we can create. Means if you want to, for example, any bugs that were identified, everything will be updated under the bug report. Or incident has taken place, incident report will be updated. Or if there is any technical review that is needed and all, technical review has to be updated. If you want to do any change request and all, change request has to be updated or any kind of blank forms, etc. Everything must be understood here. So wherein we need to update all the capturing details, right? So if you want to prioritize any kind of work, so everything that can be done, right? So if you want to prioritize or if you want to capture the work details, etc., we can do that, right? So this is all when it is needed, these forms can be created. It's not something that we create in every time. Any bugs were identified, so these bugs, everything can be created. That is all something will be done under the forms. Next, these are the goals, right? So what are the sprint goals we have, right? So I'd like to know about any kind of goals and all that. If you want to know about the goals and all, again, there are different connectivity under Atlassian Jira we have. So here we have to define the first goal. What is our first goal, etc. So for example, we are going to create first goal objective, right? So what is the goal and objective that we want to be updated? Now create a first goal where need to check how many policy submissions happened during happened. in a particular time. A particular time. A particular time, right? So this is the right name I have given, right? So this is the name we have given over here. This is the name has given already, right? So this has to be in the pending part, right? So this these goals we can update. Okay, what are the goals that we are updating here? Right. So here we have to update all the goals. What are the goals we have, etc. Everything we have to be updated. So these are multiple goals. So business goals I'm referring to. This will still it is in the pending state. Once it is accepted, automatically it will be reflected over here because still it is in the state of pending only. I hope you can see it. Still it's in the state of pending. Once it is done, automatically that will be reflected here. This is all about the goals point of view. Next one about the development. Generally for development, what happen? Generally for development means any coding or something of that kind. So if you want to connect with this, you must be connecting. Jira has to be connected with different things because either we can connect with GitHub, we can connect with GitLab. At the same time, we can connect with Bitbucket also. So these are the three options you will be having. So either GitHub or GitHub Android. So now let's say that we have GitHub. For example, we have already have a GitHub account where we can create a GitHub account and we can integrate with it. Okay, let's say that selecting a site which has to GitHub for Atlassian. Right, so review for Atlassian, get it now. Because these installations we are doing here, but when real environment, whatever the tools are required, everything will be configured and it will be ready. But here we are doing everything. Okay, GitLab is now installed already. If you want to configure an app, we can go for configuration. This developer admin people do this configuration, etc. Right. So how this can be managed, etc. Right. So this is something will be done by them. It's a GitHub Cloud. Right. So we have our email address. Continue with it. We are giving, right? So signing in country, well, we want to create an account wherein we are creating verification is completed. So that account will be created. So whatever the code that we generate, etc., everything will be updated in this, right? So Atlassian by would like to permission, right? So if you want to have the authorized Atlassian, okay? If you want to authorize the Atlassian here, you are connecting to the GitHub here. Right, so connect to GitHub, select GitHub repository. We need to select, right? So either way, or else we can change to GitHub logic, right? So or else if there is any selection of organization GitHub we have, we can do that. So browser stopped a pop-up window for opening. Okay, right? So that's leave it. So this is how we have to connect this GitHub, etc. Right? So first of all, this GitHub, as I mentioned you, this GitHub is a kind of code repository where we are updating all the code, whatever the required code items we have, everything we can connect with. Okay, this is so if you have any new tool, we can. Otherwise, we can click on create setup, finish setup. Right. So finish connecting your with the code tools. Okay, what are the required code tools? We can finish it.